Good evening and welcome to the February edition of Video Output. I'm Kathy Abraham.
And I'm Steve Glorioso. Video Output is a production of the senior radio and television broadcasting class at Normandy High School.
Our crews traveled to Forest Elementary to look at a special presentation by PTA mothers on how to deal with the handicapped, Valley Forge High School to take a look at school swim teams, Normandy High School for an explanation of school Bloodmobile drives, and Arlington and Forest Elementary for a close-up look of the Able Learners or Advanced Learners program.
Dealing with the handicapped can often be a new experience for an elementary student. In the Parma City school system, many PTA mothers have begun putting on mini assemblies or classroom presentations designed to acquaint the elementary student with the problems and feelings of a handicapped student. This program explores the emotions of the handicapped and how they should be treated in school. Let's look at one such example of this program presented in Mrs. Patton's third grade class at Forest Elementary.
Hi, this is Suzanne George at Forest Elementary School, and I'm interviewing Jan Zanzilka. I'd like to know what grade you present this to.
Third grade, 2 third grade classes this year.
What do you think the kids are going to get out of this?
Well, I would hope that as I ended the workshop with, that they would understand handicapped people better and treat handicapped people like they would want to be treated themselves.
What made you decide to start this?
Well, I'm special ed chairperson in the Forest PTA here, and I'm involved in a lot of other special ed and visually impaired groups, and disability awareness is something I feel is very important.
Okay. Whose idea was this?
The council, Parma Council, and Parma Board of Education.
Did you write the script?
I wrote the script for it, but it is a program presented in a kit form. We get a manual with some guidelines, and this came through the Cuyahoga Special Education Resource Center.
Are you the only two on PTA that do this, or is there other ones that help you out? Or
we're the two that are doing it for Forest Elementary. Hopefully, all the elementary schools in the Parma district are going to have a representative do it in their building, and each representative picked 2 disabilities to focus on. And I focused on visually impaired and learning disabled because these are the 2 handicaps we have in our building here at Forest.
Talk in a normal tone of voice because most visually impaired people are not hard of hearing. And talk to them, not their companion or their dog. They can speak for themselves and they have just as much to talk about as you guys do. We use the face of a clock to locate where food is on a dinner plate. You might tell a visually impaired person, your meat's at 12 o'clock, your vegetables are at 3 o'clock, and so on. Here's what you need to do. We use what's called the sighted guide technique, okay? They take the thumb and their forefinger and they grasp above the elbow. Let them take your arm. Don't grab them. Let them take your arm. This way that places them 1 step behind you. So when she walks, I'm behind her, and I read her body movement to tell me what to do.
What did you kids learn from this?
That handicapped people are just like other people.
That's right.
The alphabet is really different, and I learned a lot about it.
That they should be. You have to be nice to them. And they should be treated just like you.
Competitive school swimming is a rather unknown sport in many school systems. It's a winter sport that often takes a back seat to more popular sports such as basketball. Eric Maudsley, a member of the Valley Forge swim team, now takes us for a look at competitive school swimming in general and the Valley Forge swim team.
Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you. Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama.
Usually when a person mentions swimming, scenes of beaches, warm weather, and lifeguards spring to mind. Competitive swimming isn't the sport most people associate with snow and sub-zero wind chill. Basketball and wrestling have long overshadowed swimming in high school, especially at Valley Forge, where basketball and wrestling are both very strong. But this year, the Patriot swimmers are having a record-breaking season, and I'd like to take you inside this versatile and extremely competitive team. I'm here with Dave DeLuzio, a member of the Valley Forge boys swimming team. Dave, what events are there?
There's a freestyle event, backstroke, breaststroke, and butterfly. The IM, which is a combination of the 4 strokes, diving, and relay teams.
How long is the season?
From November to February.
And how many meets are there in the season?
There's approximately 16 meets.
A little on the more personal side, why do you swim?
I swim, it's my favorite sport. I enjoy swimming, and I do pretty well in it.
And how did you get involved with swimming?
I started when I was little taking swimming lessons, and then I became a volunteer for the Red Cross at the Parma Heights pool, and I just incorporated it from there.
Okay, I'm with Kevin Reitel, a member of the Valley Forge boys swim team. Kevin, why do you think the Valley Forge is doing so well this year?
We have a well-balanced team this year, a lot of good freshmen, and everybody wants to work and have a good time.
How much do you practice in a week?
4 days a week if I'm lucky.
But I'm at Greenbrier Junior High with Valley Forge swim team boys head coach John Rock. Mr. Rock, do you see Valley Forge as a strong team in the LEL this year?
I think we're in a lot better position than we were last year, Art. But the LEL is one of the strongest leagues in the whole area. Shaker Heights, Cleveland Heights, Shaw, those are all very tough teams to beat, and Normandy's very much improved from last year, so it's going to be a real mess. We're just going to have to wait till the end of the season to see. But I think we'll hold our own.
What are the strongest events for the team this year?
Probably the breaststroke, the 200 freestyle, and the 400 freestyle, and the butterfly. We've got some pretty good people in those events.
And where are your weak points?
Probably our sprint freestyle and maybe our backstroke. But even though those are a little weaker than the other ones, I think we're still pretty competitive in most of our meets with those events.
Who are the standouts on the team this year?
Our best swimmer all around is probably TJ Job. He swims the 200 and the 400 meter freestyle for us, and I can also put him in sprint freestyle events. I can have him swim butterfly backstroke. He's a real strong all-around swimmer. Mike Cagini has been doing a very good job for us in the 50 freestyle, the 100 freestyle, and the individual medley. John McGovern is doing a real good job in the breaststroke for us. He's only been beaten once so far this year. And I'm real excited about our freshman butterflyer, Paul Badig. He is very competitive already, and we've got him for 3 more years. That's the kind of guy you want to have.
I'm here with Christy Tabai, a member of the girls swim team.
Hi.
How you doing?
Okay.
What events do you swim?
200 IM, 100 breaststroke, basically whatever Janice puts me in.
Okay. Do you have any school records or anything like that?
I held a school record in the 200 IM, the 100 breaststroke, also 400 free relay, and the 200 medley relay.
Do you do any swimming outside of the swim team at school?
I'm also on a team, Brea Mid Park Swim Club, and that's a year-round team, not just in the summer or the winter.
So you're practicing all year round for swimming?
Yeah.
Have you been to any district or state meets this year?
Well, since I'm only a freshman, no, just the past Viking meet that was in December.
Bloodmobiles have become a part of modern life. The Bloodmobile visits offices, factories, churches, and schools. But what exactly is involved in having a Bloodmobile? Who staffs it? And how many students donate blood? For a closer look at Bloodmobiles, we visited Normandy High School during their most recent Bloodmobile drive and talked to Unit Administrator Ron Boswell.
I'm talking with Mr. Ron Boswell, a unit administrator from Normandy High School. How does Normandy get selected for the Bloodmobile?
Well, around May, before the start of the coming school year, the Red Cross will contact all of the high schools and they will set up the dates. So I will look at the school calendar and I will agree with the Red Cross to put down the various dates in September and December and May for the coming school year. And the Red Cross will do this with all the Greater Cleveland high schools.
How often do they come to Normandy?
We, in the past, we used to just have the Bloodmobile drive 2 times during the school year. But since we were quite successful 3 years ago, we have decided to have 3 times, and they will have the Bloodmobile drive in September, and we have one just prior to Christmas break, and then another one in May.
Approximately how many students donate?
Well, it depends on the school year. In September, we had about 86 students, and this past Bloodmobile drive, we had around 65 students. And May is our biggest donor donation because many of the students hit 17 years of age, and last year we had over 130 students donate blood in May.
Who is eligible to give?
Well, you have to weigh at least 105 pounds, and you have to be at least 17 years of age, and you do not have to have parent consent as you did in the past. And you have to be in fairly good health, and when you show up that day, all this information is given to the people who are running the Bloodmobile drive.
Does the school cooperate with the Red Cross on a voluntarily basis?
Yes, we're very pleased, as all the other schools in the Greater Cleveland area, to be a part of this very important program. Starting with the students who help the people bringing their equipment, and to all the students who are not donating blood, but who help make this Bloodmobile drive a success. We do rely on a lot of volunteers.
Mm-hmm. And why is it important for the students to donate?
Well, in the past, the majority of donors for the American Red Cross came from industry. And as you know, industry has been severely cut back because of loss of jobs and production. So they have to rely on other sources besides industry and people coming in off of the street to donate at the various centers. So approximately 15 to 20% of all blood that is donated in the Greater Cleveland area comes from the area high schools. So it's very important that we are involved in this program, and the kids really feel quite good after they donate.
What students are involved to make this drive successful?
It takes a lot of students, other than those that donate, as I mentioned before. We select, or I do, I'll have 2 seniors, and then I will also select 2 juniors that will be our Bloodmobile chairpersons. We attend a workshop in early September along with the other high schools in the area. And at this workshop, the American Red Cross has a little brunch for them, and then they get into how they go about recruiting kids. They have the kids make up posters as a preliminary to publicity. And there's so many ways that they orientate the chairpersons. Then the chairpersons will come back to the high school, and we'll put on the Bloodmobile will be put on the PA system. They will take a trophy case area. Last year we had a Christmas tree, and every student who donated, we put up a little Red Cross representing having their names on it, representing a little like an ornament. And our caption was, "Give the gift of life." And it won last year of all the high schools. And they also will visit the senior homerooms and some of the junior homerooms and the senior lounge, and it's very important that they're involved. They're the ones that really run the Bloodmobile drive. The second group of students who work the Bloodmobile drive is our medical assisting classes. Now, we have a person come from the Red Cross a nurse that will give an orientation program to the medical assisting classes of explaining exactly what their duties are when that student walks in for the first time to donate blood. And without their help, it would be very difficult because we'd have to rely on students in our, student government or our senior class advisory group. But the medical assisting, it just works great because it's part of their training.
And what is your name, please?
Brendan Sweeney.
Okay, Brendan, how often have you given blood?
Oh, this is my second time.
And how do you feel about giving it?
Oh, it's all right. I feel like I'm doing something for someone else who can benefit off my blood.
Does it hurt?
Oh, not really.
And do you feel any differently about giving blood?
Well, as far as the second time around? No, the first time I wasn't sure, because it was the first time and I thought it would hurt and all this. But it wasn't that bad, and I figure, it's, like I said before, someone will benefit out of it. Someone needs it, and if I can help someone out.
Would you encourage others to donate?
Yeah, because there's nothing to it, and I think everyone can spare a little bit of it.
What is your name, please?
Dave Habib.
Okay, Dave, how often have you given blood?
This is the first time.
And what made you decide to donate this time?
Somebody's got to do it.
And why are you giving blood?
Because I want to.
And does it hurt?
No, not at all.
I'm talking to Mr. Ron Trevorek. What made you decide to give blood this time?
Hi, Tracy. Well, I try and give blood each time the Bloodmobile is here. I feel it's a real worthwhile cause to do that.
And what are some of your reactions to giving?
Well, it always gives me a good inner feeling because I think the best gift you can do to help others is give of yourself, especially now, Christmas time, helping other people that are less fortunate that could use the blood for life.
Do you feel any differently about giving blood?
Well, other than the fact I get a good feeling, a good inner feeling to know that I'm trying to help other people out, that's basically it. As far as feeling ill or lightheaded or anything, no, I've never had any major problems giving blood.
Okay, would you encourage others?
Definitely. I try and always encourage all my students, whether it's in my health education classes or driver education. I think it's a great thing to do.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Finally tonight, Video Output explores the ALP program. ALP stands for Able Learners Program. It's a special class designed for the student who learns quicker or for the gifted and talented. The ALP program often gives a higher degree of challenge to the academically inclined student. Video Output takes you now to Arlington Elementary to first look at the ALP program for the 5th and 6th graders and to Forest Elementary for a look at the 3rd and 4th graders. Lisa Kowalik, Sabrina Kess, and Tracy Ianni talked to the ALP teachers, Marge Camberary and Joyce Freshwater.
This is Margaret Camberary, who is the ALP teacher at Arlington, John Muir, and Renwood Elementary School, and today we're at Arlington. Can you explain to me what is the ALP program?
The ALP program stands for Able Learner Program, and it's for students who have a higher ability of cognitive reasoning.
Okay, how are the able learners identified?
We do it in a couple of manners, and one of them is according to state guidelines, and that goes with the student's IQ and various test results. We also add in creativity and motivation and leadership qualities for the Parma schools.
How many are from a class?
It's determined all by the scores, and sometimes we can have 5 or 6 in a classroom, and sometimes 1 or 2, sometimes none.
Okay, how does the program differ as they go through the grades?
Well, we start with students in grades 3 and 4, and they're taught basic thinking skills. And by the time they get into the 5th and 6th grade classes, we're working with them to develop their skills of reasoning and also to do large projects that they will probably end up having to do once they get into junior and senior high.
What are some of the goals and objectives of the ALPS program?
Well, we try to get the children to think on a very creative level, and we do a lot of creativity practice with them. We also work with them on higher levels of thinking so that they are able to begin thinking on those levels, and we work to make them progress in this area.
How are these goals accomplished?
by the various curriculum that we have set up and the different activities that they're working on. We teach them the thinking skill itself or the strategy that's involved, and then we give them practice within various items.
How is this program similar in other elementary schools?
In the Parma schools, in all 15 of the elementary schools, we have the same program. We have the same curriculum that's used, and generally it's taught almost comparable to how the teacher can work it out the same, but the curriculum is the same.
Okay, can you explain to me what you're currently working on?
Right now the students have been working on a mini unit of trends, and they had to develop an end product about a trend that they felt was important any time in history. One student is working on Barbie dolls, another student is working on a sports project, one's working on cartoons, and they had to examine the trend and see where it came from, where it's going, and why it is a trend in our society.
This is Mindu Nguyen, and she's from Arlington's ALP class. Can you tell me what is the best reason for coming to ALP's class?
Well, in the regular classroom, the teachers, they have to go at this pace that everybody can go at. But in ALP, the teacher knows that most of the time you can go fast through things, and she doesn't have to spend time reading through directions.
This is Jason Sapizik. He's a 5th grader at Arlington Elementary School in the ALP program. Can you tell me, how do you think the ALP program has or will help you in your school studies?
Well, I think it'll help me because it makes me more creative, and the things that I learn in ALP, they sort of help me in my schoolwork, because instead of just doing it one way, I have other ways that I learned in ALP.
Okay, what kind of independent studies do you have to do this year?
Social related.
Okay, what does that mean?
That means that it has an effect on everybody in the world. Sort of.
Okay, can you give me some examples of some of the topics that people in your ALP class are doing?
Teenage suicide, terrorism, the Mideast, and I think there's pollution.
I'm talking to Ms. Freshwater about the ALPS program. What exactly is the Able Learner program?
Okay, the Able Learner program is a program for students in grades 3 through 6 in the Parma schools that have been identified as being gifted and talented, and they meet in a different time level. They're in a pull-out program from their classroom.
Okay, and who are the gifted?
Well, the gifted are students who have general overall intelligence, or who are gifted in a specific academic area, maybe math or science, and they're better than the other students by far in the class. Or they're a creative or a productive thinker, or they're talented or in the visual and performing arts. That's pretty much the area of description there.
How are they identified?
In the Parma system, they're identified 2 different ways. Automatic entrance into the program is an IQ of 130 or plus on a standardized group achievement test, with a ranking in the 95th percentile, which is high, in reading or math, and then by teacher recommendation. The second way are students who have an IQ of 120 or above on the standardized test and are in the higher percentiles in reading or math, and math, I should say, and then have an inventory done on them by their classroom teacher that check them in creativity, motivation, leadership, those skills.
And how many students are involved in this program?
I'm really not sure. I think probably in the 15 elementary buildings there are about 325.
And what are the characteristics of the students called gifted or talented?
Well, characteristics usually are they're extremely curious. They can put their ideas together in unusual ways. They have a complex or intensive vocabulary, keen power of observation, active imagination, can make up a story about a very unusual thing and make it interesting and humorous, and they master most of their academic areas.
Okay. What are the changes that are made as students transfer from grade to grade?
The 3rd and 4th graders are in the program 1/2 day a week, and then in 5th and 6th they're out 1 day a week or 1/5 of their school time. And then the work intensifies. It stays in basic 5 areas, but like their independent study becomes more complex. It's based on Bloom's taxonomy of learning, and they have to do much more research as they're in the 5th and 6th grade than they do in the 3rd and 4th grade.
Okay, what projects are you currently working on with these students?
Well, the 5th and 6th graders are just getting ready to start or are just into their independent projects, which is a complete independent research project. And the 3rd and 4th graders are starting that. They've finished a unit on blue jeans, which is kind of getting them prepared to go on to it. Then we work on logic puzzles, creative problem solving, and some logic puzzles. They're learning how to do mind benders and word benders, which kind of make them think in a very logical way.
Okay, and what are the advantages for the students to have the opportunity to interact with the others of similar talents?
I think probably one of the best things is it makes them sometimes work up to their potential that they frequently don't do in the classroom if they find themselves always getting done and always getting 100 and so forth. And they stretch in their thinking, we hope anyhow. We say go one more step and a little bit farther. And they learn that they have to sometimes work a little bit harder than they really do in the regular classroom. Not by all means do all of the children who qualify for the program get A's or straight A's. We have our, gifted kids who are called the underachieving gifted in the classroom who get C's, but it really is, it's good for them to be in with each other.
I'm Sabrina Kess, and I'm here at Forest Elementary School talking to 3rd grader Joey. How do you feel about being in this program?
Well, I like it.
What kind of things do you like about it?
Well, she helps us learn like logic and stuff like that. And we get to do all sorts of fun things.
Sam, what do you feel about the gifted? What do you think the gifted means to you?
It means like if somebody has something special with them or something like that.
Okay, and how do you feel about the label?
I'd like to have it too.
Okay, like what do you mean have it too?
I like to have like the gift, and I like people who have that.
When you first found out that you were going to be placed in this program, was it difficult to tell your friends about it, and what did you tell them?
I told them that since I'm put in this program, that you should still like me for what I am.
Hi, what's your name?
Beth.
Beth, how do you feel about being in this program?
It's fun, and I'm happy about it.
Why do you like it? What do you think is fun about it?
You do neat things that I didn't know before.
Well, that's it for tonight's edition of Video Output. We'd like to thank all the teachers, administrators, and students involved in tonight's show. I'm Kathy Abraham.
And I'm Steve Glorioso.
See you next time on Video Output.